Bam! Yo! It's another Tuesday afternoon. You're hanging with your favorite nerds, as I like to say. The Roll for Mischief crew. I promise that Asa over there in the lower left corner will be back. There he is. Attaboy. He's here. So we're going to be continuing with this episode right here. It's called Shifting Tides. Asa's going to be at the helm as the dungeon master for this one. And any special announcements that we got to make as a channel, as a people, before
Just
we
a
go
quick
to?
reminder to watch Mischief and Misfits on Sundays.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a fun little show. I don't know if anyone else here has been watching it. I'm the DM there, and definitely people should be watching it. You can watch it all on YouTube. I highly suggest watching it all. Um,
Entertainment.
it is entertainment. It is definitely there's a lot more emotional charging in there. I just finished out a strong arc that uh, Megan and Lindsay, I'm pretty sure would have broke down and cried for if it had been a home game. It was pretty amazing moments going on, and they
Wow.
hated me for a while until I won them back. So
Wow. All right. So if that sounds intriguing, check it out on the YouTubes, the tubes of you.
yeah, we do not
Yeah,
unfortunately have our 1,000 subscribers, so if we can get those, that'd be nice.
that'd be
So
cool.
we don't have a customized URL, so you'll just have to search for a Roll for Mischief right now.
For sure. For sure. For
Don't
sure.
don't forget to catch up with them on Twitch as well
Mhm.
on
Yeah,
our Sunday
yep.
game.
Yeah. Well, sweet. In that case, we might just do that intro video opening credits thing that we like to do with that catchy little music thing, you know?
Yeah. Before we do that,
Word.
um, find us on. We are right now on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Some of the links are below here in
Twitch.
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 Well, Instagram. Instagram is the one I forgot to say.
Word.
And yeah,
We're
check them
all,
out. We got a
dude,
Patreon going. You can patronize us.
we're all over the place.
Yep.
We're trying to be
And
better about social media.
exactly. Yeah, I usually man the Instagram. Josh is probably going to be there on the Twitter. The
Working
YouTube
on it.
posts fairly regularly, twice a week.
Mhm.
And yeah, any of us, you can find us on Discord.
For
So
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this thing going.
Roll credits. All right. Love those credits, dude. Just love it. All right. So cool. Let's go ahead and go on to just a quick little session recap from the last session, and we might have to do that collectively, guys. And then we'll do a quick little group therapy and check in with the characters, and then get this going.
Mm.
So I don't know. I remembered the one big thing that was significant for Eigner, at least, was the fire at the inn, but I'm not exactly sure how do we get to the fire.
How'd you get to the fire?
How do we get to the fire? Because this stuff happened before the fire did. The fire was like near the middle and the
You guys
end
were
of
gonna
the
go
thing.
see the doctor. Forget his name in the game. You were gonna go see the doctor, and then uh, at the bar, and then that's like so. As Theala was going off to check out, like to scout, um, she was just going to go scout the where the kids might be.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you guys were went to go see the doctor, and
What
that's
happened before that was you went to go investigate the constable, or communicate with the constable, and he was oh so helpful and gave you all of the information.
Oh yeah.
You quickly learned that he was pretty uninterested in actually doing his job, and he seemed to blame the people who expected him to do his job for bringing him trouble.
right.
And then you did learn from him there's a location in the woods that the loggers will not go. They believe that area is cursed. No one goes there except for the kids. All those crazy kids going and daring each other and doing those things crazy kids do, and then they go and get themselves eaten by something in the woods.
Right.
Seem to sort of chalk it all up to that. Um, then there was you guys decided, okay, Theala's going to investigate that place. You two will talk with John. John is the innkeeper's name, or the tavern
Yeah.
keeper's name.
That guy.
But you decided you wanted to rest before,
Oh yeah.
and I don't remember if you were woken up in the middle of the night or if you woke up the next morning.
It was the next morning.
It was the next morning.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you found out upon waking up, oh, the inn's on fire, and Theala slipped out prior to anybody else getting up, and ran off to go check the space in the woods where she also met with fire. Fire she caused, fire
Mhm.
she didn't cause. Found the wizards who were experimenting on children, turning them into demonish hounds.
Oh yeah.
Lit a couple of them on fire, got herself locked up in a wall of fire. You guys checked out the flaming building, helped put it out, gave all those people Eigner gave the people the defense with
The
his
fire
sword.
resistance.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And took you a couple hours to clean out a lot of the rubble. You found a hatch space in the tap room.
And it was all cold and stuff, dude.
Yeah, and you're able to get in there and find these winding tunnels that led you eventually. While you're traveling through these tunnels, Eigner sort of had this beeline to where he was going, feeling like he's walking along a spider thread, while Halifax kept hearing Theala calling for help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more he ignored the calls, the more distressed he got. You showed up in front of John, and he was acting all shifty and was was concerned you weren't actually who you thought who you looked like you were.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember how. Oh, because of the voices. But once he saw you, he was like, "Oh, you are who you are."
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about where everyone left off. I think it left off with Theala in the Wall of Fire, and left off with the two of you face to face with John, who seemed to be looking to gather up magical paraphernalia and piece the fuck out.
That's pretty much the idea. Alright, so let's go on to group therapy. I'll go ahead and start with Eigner. Eigner is in kind of a interesting headspace right now because, obviously all this like very confusing, very intriguing stuff has been going on all around him and whatnot. But he is just like a little kind of in his own head and very like preoccupied because he's trying to reckon with all this stuff that's happening with like what Asa just talked about with Eigner following this path and feeling like he's walking along a spider's thread. He's having all this like supernatural shit. All this supernatural shit is happening to him, and he's trying to figure out like what's going on with it. He ultimately really likes it, and he wants this connection to continue. So he's kind of like inwardly, mentally, just kind of drawn, like trying to develop his relationship with this mysterious, spidery thing. and he's trying to navigate through the situation and the circumstances of the present as best he can, but he's a little more concerned with how this spider deity can help him find the meaning in all this.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next because I'm with Eigner.
Right. So I figured.
The thing that seems to be bothering Halifax the most is the events of what to him are both just the last few days and the last few years. He's got this weird mishmash of memories from the illusory sort of dream thing that they were all involved with. So his relationship with Theala developing to a point where they acted on whatever nascent feelings they had, now being like snapped out of it. He's remaining with his stoicism, but it is deeply affecting him, more so than he thought that he was even capable of. For Halifax, the lure of adventure and protecting people from wrong was like his main focus. He wasn't quite a monk by any stretch, but he was still not really thinking that he'd fall prey to this sort of thing. So he's still reeling and trying to process everything that's going on regarding his feelings for Theala and these illusions and voices and things. They are contesting strongly with Eigner as to who's gonna win Halifax's attentions. Oh, also, he thinks the constable did the whole burning the pub down thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that
I do
part.
remember there being reason for him to believe that.
Yes.
For
And I
real.
wrote it down in my notes as well. Just but constable did it.
Okay,
The constable
so Diala just went to go investigate. She didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but when she got there, things were very obviously not what they seemed to be, and so she like went and investigated it closer, and then discovered that the children were not just being kidnapped but being experimented on and being transfigurated or whatever into like these demony creatures. And as a like basically as a soldier, that was an unacceptable practice. Like if there was one thing in the world that would have gotten her to risk her life, it would have been that very specifically. Like, or to do something stupid, like to basically pull an Akram. That was pretty much like Akram would have done it for a lot of different things. This level of evil is what it took to get her to do so. So she basically came in guns a-blazing, dropping fireballs and whatnot, and dissonant whispers. And actually, I mean, considering how much Asa saved, held her own. You're muted again. Still muted.
Especially the main villain.
Yeah, the main villain just like saved everything. But then eventually they got fed up with her and decided to trap her in a wall of fire or a ring of fire. And so she's kind of out of the kind of spells that it would take that she could do any kind of serious damage with. They're kind of out of range of what she's got. So she used the last of her spell slots to heal herself as best as she could. And right now she is looking and waiting for an opportunity to act. Most likely, it's like kind of just waiting for them to turn their attention away from her for like a split second, and then she'll like probably basically have to bolt, and unless something crazy happens. And actually I have an idea. I just had an idea of something that I might want to do. Basically she's gonna use whatever opportunity she can to go and then come back, although she's afraid of leaving because she's afraid of them absconding with the children again and not being able to find them ever again. So she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So she's very conflicted here. She's actually, for the first time since they like escaped the illusion, is actually has not been thinking about Halifax at all.
So she's found the distraction she's been looking for all this time.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
Unintentionally, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm not going to air Erdo's feelings because he's not around and doesn't know what's going on, so they are not relevant. Yeah. So, picking up right where we left off, I'm going to start off with Theala since we did end the episode last week on the session last week on Halifax and Eigner. So, Theala, you are standing or sitting or however you feel the best use of your time is physically in this about 20-foot space. I think it's about what you can make of flame, all the flame sort of jutting toward you. If you were to try to move in any direction outside of a small area, you would be standing in a bunch of fire. You can faintly hear what's going on outside through the rush of flames, and it's pretty much around the idea of first putting out the fires or getting the children free of the tents, and then second making sure that everyone is actually wearing clothes and whatnot, not just presenting themselves in a way that in a manner that should not be presented. And then this is the time you take to sort of heal yourself up, and then a section of the wall opens, and the mage that you know for a fact had cast the spell is standing. It's just enough space where he's blocking that particular exit route. But he's standing looking at you.
Do I have a good line of sight on the tents with the? Because I think it's 2 tents left that have those children that have been turned into devils left, and I don't know. I'm assuming maybe then you killed the third one.
Yeah, the one that got loose they killed.
Okay.
I guess there was, because that one was charging it at this guy the last time you saw him.
Right. So then the question then becomes: do I have a good can I see those?
From this angle, no. You can see right of the tent where where you knew that, like when you found out the children were at, the children who were not mutated.
Yeah. Okay. I guess then the question is: would I be able to ostensibly geolocate them? I can roll an intelligence check if you want, but to be able to ostensibly geolocate them based on memory.
I will let you roll an intelligence check just to see how accurate your geolocation is. But yes, you could kind of try to pull up a visual map, and your roll will determine your accuracy.
Hold on. Let me. 18.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got a pretty general idea of where the last 2 tents are. One is almost directly behind you, a little bit to your left, and the other one is to the right of the tent that you can see right now. It's a bit to the right, probably maybe 8 to 10 feet to the right of that tent.
Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically kind of put my hands up and right below the circlet and charge, and it's going to brighten up, and I am going to send quasi one at a time blasts of my scorching ray at the tents to try to burn them and release whatever like blockade is on them, because I know that worked before, to release them as well to create more disruption.
Fiala's doubling down, baby.
Well, I still have movement.
Doubling down. I love it.
So, Jesus goddamn motherfuckers. At disadvantage, 7 on the first one.
Okay, 7 on the first. Yep, keep. I mean, roll your damage as well, because there's a good chance you'll hit something.
Okay. Was 7 considered a hit?
I'm not going to tell you yet because you don't have line of sight to it.
Okay, so that first one is 9.
Okay.
I would have a line of sight on the one behind me then, right?
No, because the way that he opened up the little thing, you just have a straight, narrow line of sight, right?
Okay.
I'm going to say through the flames, you probably could make out vague, really vague. Like
basically, it'd be like I would
outlines.
want to see at the very minimum if I hit it. So if I hit it and I feel like it's a decent shot, I'll put the other 2 down at the other one.
Okay. So then in that case, no. Your first shot goes high of the tent and crashes into the trees above it.
Okay. This one is math 13.
Okay. That one will hit it.
Okay. Nice max damage 12.
All right. Yeah, that just sets the flame igniting or the tent on fire. You can just see the vague shape that you're pretty sure was the tent is now blending with the wall of fire, and you can hear something screaming and thrashing.
Okay. So the second one was 1 more.
So yeah, it hits.
It would have been a nat 20 had I not had disadvantage. But so, and then that one's 10 total damage.
Okay. Yeah. So that one, you're launching that one at the same tent or the
other tent.
Okay. Yeah.
My
So
goal
that
is
one-
essentially to
Release the creatures and give them
Yeah.
distraction. I gotcha.
yeah.
That one hits and it just lights the tent on fire. Like it grazes the top of the tent and you see the top start to burn.
Right.
And
Yeah, I'm not trying to hit the creatures. I'm trying to hit the tents.
right. With that, he
I bolt.
well, he's gonna act as well. Well, the only way to bolt is straight at him, unless you're gonna go through the fire.
Through the fire.
Okay.
Through
Roll
the
the damage.
fire.
And the flames.
And yeah, I'm gonna go through the
Oh.
flames.
We're gonna start playing some Dragon Force.
Why not?
Don't have it constantly going through your head all the time.
Like straight the other direction,
All
just
the time.
Just through the flames.
I need a bunch of d8s because reasons.
Because it's a bunch of d8s in the wall of fire.
Very
Because-
fiery reasons.
Because the wall deals d8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because death reasons. Yay. I could use a fancy online roller, but I boycott those things because I am that kind of person.
Well, isn't it like 5d8?
It is 5d8.
Yeah, so I can survive it unless you max damage all. I mean, max
Oh.
damage.
I rolled mediocre. That is the grand total of 18 points of fire damage.
Oh, that's.
Oh yeah, you turn and just jump through the flames as the guy screams, "Don't be stupid, girl!" And the flames themselves also are like fading down and receding. And he starts to run after you. If you cast a look back, the tent that you hit first, you had hit the tree above it and like by now, fire is spreading up that tree, and one of the limbs has broken
Mhm.
off. It crashed onto the tent itself, and then you of course hit the tent with the or burning hands.
No.
And that,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Scorching ray.
Scorching ray.
yeah, scorching ray. And that tent is a light as well, and the creature is like bucking its way out of it. Um, the other two, you can see the other two mages. One of them is quickly ushering the children who are all blindfolded. There's about four of them, and he's trying to usher them in the opposite direction of the beast that's getting loose, while the third one is rushing towards that creature to attempt to subdue it. Turning and facing towards the direction you just jumped, your other scorching ray lit the tent on fire, but didn't hit it in a way that knocked back the tent poles or anything. You can see the creature trying to scurry inside of it, but it seems to still be bound in its
It'll probably take a few
in
rounds.
its trap.
To unlock it.
Yeah. It didn't have the aid of a branch falling on top of the tent and actually breaking the seal.
Right. Hopefully, I can burn the tent away, but for right now, it's just gotta wait.
Yep. And then I need to make an attack roll. Ooh, that's a natural crit. The wizard that you've been dealing with this whole time is charging at you, and as he's doing it, his wall of flame is dying out, but he reaches into it, and like this whip of fire attaches to his hand, and he lashes it around your legs, and just yanks as hard as he can. That is going to be for 12 fire damage, and you are pulled 10 feet closer to him.
Okay, how close is he right now?
He moved his full movement, and so he's like right on top of you right now.
So, like, okay, how far away were we in the first place from each other? Because I moved my full movement too. So,
Right. And the wall of fire is only a total of it's a
20-foot thing.
60 feet long, so it's a 20 and so he used it to block you off in about a 20-foot radius. So he was 20 feet away from you from the start. You ran through, so your speed is 30, right?
yeah.
And then he ran his 30, which puts you guys still at 20 feet apart. And then he hit you with the whip, pulled you forward 10 feet, so you guys are 10 feet away from each other.
So then, question number the second is, am I like restrained? Or am I?
No, it's very. You've seen a very similar thing in the way that Eridu would use his water whip. He uses it, hits you with it, pulls you in the direction that he wants, and then the whip itself dissipates.
Okay.
So you didn't lose your balance or anything because the flame whip kind of went away before you actually lost your footing.
Right. In that case, I am going to. How far away am I from the tree line?
About 20 feet.
Okay, I am going to then go into the tree line and then hide.
Okay. Oh yeah, so roll me the stealth check with disadvantage because he knows the general area you're going into.
Okay, that's fine. Although I wouldn't be able to get in 10 feet, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Math. Fortunately, I'm an expert in stealth. Otherwise, this would have not been great. 17.
Okay. He runs to the tree line, and you can see him. Like you've kind of got yourself low to the ground, and you're watching him pretty clearly from where you're at, and you can see him kind of cast a gaze through the woods, and then curse, and then reach down and grab like a fistful of the leaves from a low bush and yank them free and hold them in his hand, and they start to burn. And as they do, you can kind of hear a faint whispering coming out of it.
Yeah.
And it seems like well, hold on, what languages do you know?
I know Common and Elvish.
Okay, so it's a very disgusting sounding language that just makes you feel wrong to your core. You've heard it spoken in whatever our equivalent to an Underdark would be.
I guess we don't have it Underdark. It's just the island of Drowse.
Right, but in the darkest circles of
Right.
the Drow people, where practices of demon worship was still
Right.
acceptable, you've heard it in those cults you've had to deal with and dismantle yourself.
Right.
So
Does it
you
look
know
like
it to be draconic, or not draconic, but infernal.
Abyssal.
Infernal or
Infernal.
Abyssal? Yeah.
Yeah,
One
you
of
know
One
it
of
to
those.
the
be
two. I would
abyssal.
know the difference.
Yeah, but you don't know what it's actually saying.
Okay, so then does it look like he's casting another spell that is gonna require like several rounds to?
It definitely does. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's not just the quick little blip. I have information now. But you do definitely pick it up as a type of spell, just from your own knowledge,
Right.
that is meant to give him more information without him having to actually use his own physical body to find it.
Okay, in that case, what I'm gonna do is I am going to bust out my musket and shoot him. With
Oh,
it.
okay. All right.
Damn.
I would at minimum not have disadvantage because I'm no longer in direct sunlight. Although I'm not sure if you would want to give me advantage. I will leave that up to you.
I wouldn't give you advantage because you're not proficient in the weapon.
Okay, I get that. Makes sense.
Musket time. Musket time.
Fucking 13.
Why do I keep clicking on the spells instead of opening them in another
He's
window?
a
I
wicked.
just keep going back to look at those stat block.
He's a weak ass wizard guy. Come in.
It
doesn't-
was 13.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
probably a miss.
that will hit.
Oh,
I told you he's a weak ass wizard guy.
okay.
I told
Okay,
you.
Didn't expect that. Oh, max damage!
Damn, nice.
15.
All right. So yeah, you ready that musket and just boom, that ball connects right with the ball of flame in his hand,
Yeah.
and you see this spray of blood and a curdling scream as you blow 3 of his fingers off.
Nice.
He grabs his hand, blood is dripping down it, and looks in the direction of the loud bang that is a firearm, and
Knows where I am.
yeah,
Well,
Uh,
that's gonna mess with his somatic components.
right.
um,
Come on, girl, don't be stupid. There's 3 of us and 1 of you.
I am going to go deeper. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go deeper into the woods, but I'm going to make it obviously so.
Okay.
Chase me, ha 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 ha.
Instead
Yeah.
of going after you, he actually turns around and goes over to the burning tent and grabs it with his now 2-fingered hand and just grits his teeth as the flame cauterizes the wound, and then he rips off the tarp of the tent, and you see the child flesh dog
Right.
just gnashing and gnarling his teeth at him. He produces that flame whip again and wraps it around the creature's neck like a dog and yanks it face down into the ground. And then you can't make out what he's saying, but he gets his face really close to it. And he's muttering something into its ear. When he lets up, he breaks the connection of the barrier, and the flame leash dissipates in his hand. And then he stands up and points in the direction of the woods. And the dog starts to go into a low stalking posture and starts to make its way into the forest.
Okay. I take another shot at him.
All right.
Nice. Nice.
Jesus. No, this one's worse. 11.
Okay. Yeah, this one, you fire and the ball just shoots right past him, just a few inches from him. But it almost kind of looked like he was a little more on the lookout for this kind of shot.
Okay. I am going to strafe a little bit more. This time, not being so obvious.
Are you constantly going back and back for the sake of the pistol range?
Yeah, I'm kind of constantly going, back a little bit. Partially because I am not doing so well, and partially because I'm trying to separate him
Mhm.
from. But now that he sicked his dog on me, I can't risk like being that well noticed.
Right.
Run away, Theala!
He
away.
calls into the woods and says, "You have two choices. You can give yourself up, or my hound will eat you. But either way, this is not going to go well for you." And he turns and walks towards the tent, where the other guy is struggling to get the hound off of him. Like, it's got him pinned to the ground. It's lashing and attacking him, and he's seems to be struggling with it.
Okay, he's basically out of line of sight now, right? Like I can't see him anymore.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, then I just double dash back.
Okay, cool. Cool.
I can't with a dog on my tail. I can't.
Yeah.
Can't do shit.
I can't do shit. Not with my 9 hit points left.
I'm not gonna lie. I was super hoping that you would get imprisoned, and I was ready for interrogation. That's okay. This is cool too, because now you got a hound tracking you. I can look at that. All right.
It's gonna be like that episode of Black Mirror where the chick's getting
Oh,
chased by
yeah.
that little metal
Yeah.
dog. It's gonna be just like that.
Just like
that.
I do have, by the way, a passive perception of 14, so I don't know how stealthy that dog is, but I want to
yeah. The next time we come together, it'll be you and the dog in a chase through the woods. But I'm gonna head over to Eigner and Halifax.
Yay.
Who are they?
Some guys.
Mysteries. Okay, so you're in the room, and there's a John, and he's got a case in front of him that he keeps looking at these objects on these different tables and puts them in, takes some of them out, puts some new ones in, takes the new one back out again, and he seems to be pretty much after verifying by sight that you are who you say you are. Hasn't given you much notice since you've walked into his room.
Assuming that there's just been this kind of like awkward silence a little bit, which Eigner's cool with, he'll just be kind of ruminating on some things. Then he'll clear his throat. John.
Oh, yes, you're still here.
Yeah, yes, we are. I'm wondering if you have any ideas of who possibly would have any kind of motive to burn your inn down.
Oh, yes. It would seem that the people I've been trying to avoid have found me out.
I'm terribly sorry, John. You were very specific there. Could you be a bit more vague?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. You guys, I told you about the wizards, the place not far from here that you all came from earlier.
Yes. No, you did. You did.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
did you... I'm sorry, continue.
The people that are looking for me are mages from the Bureau, and they seem to have found me out and are either trying to kill me or force me to do something magical so that they can... I don't know. Well, at this point, they don't even need to track me anymore. They don't need to make me do magic. They know where I am.
If they
So I don't know what the plan is.
If they know where you are, how is it that you are not detained by the ISCB right now? And how is it that you came to know that your inn was on fire? Did you see anyone suspicious around the time? I'm just very confused, John. I'd really like you to help shed some light on the situation for me.
Yes, you, the victim of an arson crime. Explain yourself.
Look, it's all small things to me. This inn was eventually, or this tavern was eventually going to get burned down, or something equally bad was going to happen. That was inevitable. I'm not too concerned about that. So the who's don't matter much to me. It was someone who wants to get my attention, and I don't want them to have my attention, so I plan to leave. That's what I know, and what I plan to work on.
Very well.
As far as why the Bureau hasn't found me here, is they might know who I am and where I live, work, whatever that may be. They definitely don't know where I am because they can't find me here.
Why here specifically?
Well, they could, in theory, find me. But then if they popped in and made their presence known, there are things that live down in this part of under this town that very much like to eat things that produce magic.
What?
And they're drawn to that energy.
What in God's name are you talking about?
Some things that I stole from the Bureau when I left. It's a beast called a Bahanath. They enjoy magical energy, and they're drawn to it, and they will consume it if they can get their hands on it.
Huh.
Let's just say I didn't leave the Bureau in good standing.
No, I can see that, certainly. Are these beasts...
Are you? No.
No,
Go on,
you.
Eigner.
No, you.
Are you packing to leave now, John?
Yes. I think it's the most sensible thing to do.
How long would you give, were you a gambling man, to anyone of any magical ability wandering around without aim in these tunnels?
Oh, maybe 2 hours from about 2 hours ago. So probably now.
Right.
In fact, I don't know how long you've been down here, but you seem to have found me fairly quickly.
Yes. Eigner,
Yeah?
could we perhaps leave?
Yeah, no, I would like to as well.
Yes, please.
John, I don't know exactly what to say. I believe it's best that we all part ways. Yourself and us as well. And I feel as if somehow we failed you. I feel as if we've failed this town somehow. But to be honest, it's all just a little beyond me. What exactly this is all about. What is going on. And I don't have any love for the ISCB either. Frankly, I'm going to leave as well.
John stops all of his tinkering, something that you can hear and Halifax can see, and he just looks very seriously at you. And you can faintly smell his aroma as he moves closer and closer.
Force of
The hell?
like if the ring is a very like technologically advanced like thing. Like if you look at the ring, it's like
That's okay. His
One of my
musk
corn tabs.
his musk gets stronger and stronger as he steps up to you, and then you feel a hand on your shoulder. And he says, "I knew by looking at you that you are someone who's been hurt deeply by magic. And I recognize that you don't trust me, and you shouldn't, and nor should you trust anyone from the Bureau. Mages are fickle, and when you get a group of us together, we become short-sighted. That is why I left the Bureau in the first place. You haven't failed me. In truth, those practitioners of magic have failed us all. We're supposed to use them with responsibility, and we fail that almost daily. And now someone is putting this town in danger because they're trying to get to me, which means my presence here is putting this town in danger.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry for it all, John.
I also am sorry for your injuries.
It's all in the past.
Sometimes the past follows us, though.
It is strange that our presence in this town seems to have heralded the upheaval that you're experiencing now.
Yes, I hadn't given that much thought, but I also was trying not to.
Well, our companion, Theala, she seemed consumed by something else that was happening in this town. I do wonder if that well has run dry for her or not. In fact, I'm fairly sure it must have. There can't be so many things happening in one small town, surely. I'm sure this is all the exciting stuff that's happening nearby. We should go up and find her. She'll be bored out of her mind right now.
I'll say.
I'm sure she would be. It was a pleasure to meet you, gentlemen. I wish it was under better circumstances. Be safe
Indeed.
on your way out.
The same.
Should we meet again? You need but say the word, and we will render our aid. It has been good to meet someone a bit more friendly in a town like this.
Yes. I agree.
Goodbye, John.
Farewell. Be safe. All the good things.
Alright, so on that, Eigner will turn around and try and find the thread that hopefully still exists. That he can
Leave
merely...
me out of here, blind man.
Yeah, seriously. The blind leading the Hillowfax. Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Is it with advantage or not with advantage? Because is it based on a sense that would give me advantage?
Actually, I changed that. Roll me a religion check.
Okay. Is it with advantage or like just kidding?
Just roll it.
I'm rolling it. I am. Okay, that's only going to be an 11.
Okay.
I like how the suggested dichotomy is with advantage or not with advantage, not with advantage or disadvantage.
Oh, no. Why would you ever do disadvantage?
Why
Not
would
with
you
me.
ever want to remind your DM the disadvantage exists?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, you turn around and all you feel is the lingering feeling of the thread in this room. But it doesn't lead you out anywhere else, and there's no sense that you could safely make your way back using it.
I'm going to turn to Hillowfax with hesitation in my voice and say, Hillowfax,
It's all right, Eigner. It can wait until you've let us out of this place. It's fine.
No, Hillowfax, you don't understand. I cannot find the thread that I was following to bring us here.
What you talking about, Eigner?
I'm going to say, like, Hillowfax, we should ask John to escort us out of this crazy little thing of his.
I find it most disturbing for you to say escort and John in the same sentence. By company. However,
I'm going to hire John as my escort.
What a twist. Perhaps you're right. John.
Oh, you're still here?
We are. We did happen to find you rather quickly, as you pointed out. and that may in part be due to my friend Eigner here having a vague sense of how to get here. Unfortunately, his senses have failed him in this case. We cannot find the way out. Might you escort us to a safe passage out?
He asks me to have you roll a persuasion check.
That's a 9.
Okay.
We're doing so good, guys.
He takes a deep breath and he says, "So, your blind friend got you in here and can't stumble you back out."
Look, I can't exactly explain how. I mean, I am definitely blind, but I cannot exactly explain how it was that I got here, but call it providence. But the point is that I just can't do it right now, and you were describing how dangerous it is here, and we'd really appreciate some help.
Right. Okay. It seems that no matter how hard I try, I cannot avoid this mess. We're going to use magic. And then we're going to go find the children. And then we're going to go solve this ISCB problem. And then hopefully we'll never see each other again if we survive.
Okay.
You two need to do me a favor.
Yes.
You need to keep that entrance clear while I prepare to teleport us out.
All right.
All
Are you
right.
expecting the ISCB to follow us that soon?
No, I'm expecting the things down here to try to eat us.
Oh my goodness. Isn't there a way for you to get us out of here without using magic?
There is, but there's also a very high chance the things will try to eat us.
Oh, okay.
Or we'll run into the ISCB.
I believe, Eigner, it behooves us to aid John in this.
Don't have much of a choice.
Besides, I don't think time is on our side, and getting through these tunnels is time-consuming.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Eigner will pull out Talon's blade. He'll take out his shield, and he'll just try and center himself and do this little mini meditation and open up his senses, his sense of hearing, his sense of the earth in the ground quaking and everything, and he's gonna just try and visualize his surroundings as best as he can.
Okay. I would like you to roll me a perception check, and I'd like everyone to roll me an initiative check, except for Josh.
Oh, my God, dude. These rolls are killing me. Wait, so is this an advantage one, though? Because, I get advantage on perception.
Yes, it is an advantage
checks.
perception check.
Yeah! No! I literally rolled 2 3s. How does that happen?
Oh my god.
How does that even happen, guys?
Oh,
Okay.
The magic that you're casting is going to get you killed.
Alright, so I got 8 on the perception. I'm just freaking out and still getting used to this whole new me. And appropriately, I rolled a 2 on my initiative. God,
Okay.
I was talking about how Eigner was preparing for battle, and somehow he's just I'm not preparing well. Alright, so I got a 1 on the initiative.
Okay.
I got a 9 on the initiative.
Alright.
We're doing great.
Well,
We're doing great, don't
It is
worry.
so well.
starting first, John cracks his knuckles and reaches into the bag he's been packing and pulls out a small leather pouch. It kind of looks like it's essentially a crayon box made of leather. He opens the top and then very dexterously spills the crayons all over the floor, or the chalk all over the floor. Oh, that shoot, now I need to find the right colors, and he starts fumbling through all the chalks on the floor. Yeah, just bear with me for a second. We're all okay. Everything's fine.
Wow. Halifax, he's even worse than that other fellow, Finnegan.
They seem to be of a kinship almost.
I mean, kinda.
A little bit.
In all fairness, yeah.
They're both
we were
rebels.
considering their inspirations. All right,
Yeah.
so Halifax, it is officially your turn in the initiative order. But is there anything you'd like to do? Not that there's anything for you to respond to currently.
The place where we're wanting to like hold the line is that here, or is there like a particular like doorway choke point that we're trying to hold?
Oh, we are in front of a doorway, right?
Yeah, there's only one entrance into this room. One visible
Brilliant. Then I shall stand in that doorway and cast Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound.
There you go.
entrance.
Hodor!
Hodor. Okay, cool. Just so you guys know the magic that's happening here, this is right now just kind of a series of skill checks until it becomes not a series of skill checks. So I would like you to just roll me an Arcana check.
Oh, that's more like it. What's that in total? 28. I love that roll.
That's awesome. Damn.
Yeah, I got nat 20.
Wow.
That's great.
That's incredible.
So, being aware of the fact that there's something in these tunnels that likes things that are attracted to magic, you cast this spell in what you hope to be is the most stealthy arcane way of casting magic possible. Eigner, I'd like you to roll me another perception check.
I'm so ready to perceive things. Oh, gosh, I'm dropping my dice today. Forgive me.
What do you perceive?
I'm like, feel like I'm cursed today. Is that like something that can actually happen?
In real life, of course.
Because I rolled like a 4 and a 7. All right, so I have a 12 perception. I'm like getting
Okay.
slowly better.
Yeah, this time you're getting a little bit closer to the ground. You're starting to sniff the air a little more, and still just smells like a dank, musty old cave full of hollow sounds.
So dank. So dank. I love it. Okay, so John's turn.
Yeah, John's turn. This time he goes, aha, here's the right one, and pulls out a nice green chalk and then begins to draw on the floor. Large, about a 10-foot in diameter circle that he begins to scribble out. And he says, oh, how's it all going over there?
Fine. Eigner, he cannot mask the frustration in his voice right now.
Good, because I've got things happening here at the exactly as was planned. Yeah.
We certainly seem to be able to hold the fort as is. What size and manner of creature is this behemoth?
Oh, yeah. It's well, it depends, but typically they're pretty large. They like to have a giant mouth they can eat things with, and lots of tentacles to grab them. But what really is unsettling is you're not going to ever recognize it as what it is. It's going to look like something quite a bit different when it first appears to you.
I'm sure I won't have a problem with that.
It's going to sound quite a bit different too. Might even smell quite a bit different.
I'm gonna kill it all the same.
All right. Well, if that's what you're confident in, then I would like Halifax to roll me. This is me asking, not John. Roll me a wisdom save.
11 on the dice. What's my save mod? 6. So that's 17.
Wow, because the DC is 16. Okay. Yeah, you hear a scream of absolute torment that is in fact Theala coming down the tunnel that you're facing right now.
I'll shoot a look down the tunnel and go, Theala, she must have come down here looking for us. Wait here, Eigner. You hold the line. I'll go and fetch her.
I will shoot my hand out and grab whatever part of Hillowfax is right in front of me. Like, it might be his arm, might be his chest, might be his hair. I don't know. I'm just gonna grab. Grab
chest
something.
hair.
His chest hair. Glug 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 glug. Let me grab that
His
big boy.
manly chest hair.
So I'm just gonna grab his robes and just say, Hillowfax, we've gone over this before. Do not abandon me in a tactically crucial situation like this. I can't do this without you.
All right. Yes. We have to protect our way out of here. And it may not even be Theala.
She doesn't care. She definitely didn't follow us. I'm sorry to break that part to you, but at the point she's at right now, I just don't think she cares enough to have followed us.
I'll reach down and ruffle the invisible fur of my faithful hound. Yeah, I'll stand my ground for now. But I'm not sure how comfortable he's going to be with staying put if he keeps hearing these screams.
As you ruffle the fur of your watchdog, you can feel like its hackles just up, and it's like a body is rumbling with a low growl, as though it is on the defensive. And Eigner, I want you to roll me another perception check.
Okay, time to do a little bit better. Okay, that's a little bit better. I've got an 18.
Okay. Also, Theala, I'd like you to roll me an initiative. Because I'm going to put you in this initiative count with your dog chase.
Word. So I've got the 18, and then additionally, okay, so with your faithful hound, does he like take up like physical space? Like, he's invisible, but could you like stand in the hound's space if you're an ally?
He's simply invisible, it seems, and he can see invisible creatures and into the ethereal plane, and he ignores illusions.
So he's going to happily see this creature, but you won't.
So is it something that you could just like straight up like trip over? You're walking along and you like trip over this invisible dog.
The spell wording, according to D&D Beyond, I feel is being left intentionally vague for this to be a GM call. It says an invisible hound. I would lean towards it is a physical hound taking up that space, so it would be a small creature in that space. But there's nothing to explicitly say it is that.
And I'm going to say that sounds good to me. It is a physical being that is just invisible.
Okay, cool. So in that case, I'm going to, I don't know, be able to smell the dog really, really well, and hear the dog with the and all that, and the and it's growling, and essentially, so I can get a good sense of where this invisible dog is. And I'm going to move so that I'm standing just behind it. So that I'm also taking up that kind of space in the doorway.
Cool. And then I would like you to make me a wisdom save.
Ooh. Okay.
Phantom Watchdog.
Did my perception do anything cool at all?
Oh,
also?
Right, your perception. That was important.
Yeah.
Give yourself the wisdom save with advantage.
Ha ha ha.
What was that, Josh?
Phantom Watchdog.
Phantom Watchdog.
You conjure a Phantom Watchdog.
Phantom.
In an unoccupied space you can see within range.
The fact that it's phantom means it probably has a physical form, and the fact that it's an unoccupied space means it probably has a physical form.
Okay.
Okay, so my save did not go so well. I rolled a 4 and a 5. That means I have a 7 total.
Okay. After giving your stirring speech to Halifax, you hear Eridu calling to you from the darkness. He says, Eigner. I need to get my radio voice. Eigner, I have come because you need my help, but I can't find you.
Eridu, I'm right here. Follow
Uh,
my voice.
I'm lost in these tunnels. I'm trying, but I feel like I'm caught in a spider's web.
Oh, I know all about that. Eridu. And his voice will trail off, and he'll just start to take a couple of slow steps forward.
All right. Um, as he does, something brushes up against him. So this is the thing that your perception check let you know that something large had just appeared in the tunnel, probably less than 100 feet into the darkness of the tunnel, out of nowhere. Just its presence was just there. The smell permeated from the halls. The sounds of something large scraping against the stone. And as you start to walk further down the tunnel, this this leathery thing just brushes against your side and wraps around your sword, or sword hand rather. And that is a crit.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I did that.
Whatever you
So I'm pretty sure 27 is going to hit your AC.
Well, yeah.
So this thing wraps around your arm and just yanks.
Oof.
And you just feel your arm pop out of its socket as you take 15 points of damage, and your sword is just grabbed from your hand.
Oh, dang. Shit.
Theala, you are running through the woods from this dog. What are you doing?
I guess I am going to look it.
Okay.
If I feel like the dog is gaining on me, I am going to look for the closest possible location wherein I can use my acrobatic capabilities.
Okay.
To climb a tree.
All right, so make me an acrobatic check when you get to that. Yeah, well, you're ready now, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you want me to make the check? Just make the check now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you move your full movement and then make your check.
Okay. Well, only if the dog is catching up on me.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, roll me an endurance check first, or a constitution check.
Okay.
Also, read through the sage advice, and I didn't realize that this dog doesn't move, so I'm actually cool with it being something that can be moved through. If it actually was a thing that can move and whatnot, I can kind of see.
Oh, yeah, the hound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
16 on the first one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you get a pretty good charge through the woods, and you're able to go a pretty good distance before you even begin to hear the sound of the dog moving through the woods, and it's moving at a pretty cautious pace, attempting to sort of be a little more stealthy. So you get a lot of space between the two of you early on. You're not too incredibly far from the village, at least as far as you can remember, before you do start feeling winded. And you can hear the dog just closing in fairly quickly. Now it seemed to have given up any pretense of stealth. So, what would you like to do? Would you like to climb a tree now, or would you like to still make it for the village?
I guess, okay. Using passive perception only, do I think that I could make it to the village? Or is it hard?
Based on the fact that you're starting to get exhausted and it seems to be just picking up steam, it's probably going to catch up to you before you can fully get there.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to jump a tree.
All right.
Oh, yeah. It almost doesn't matter what my acrobatics is. 25?
Okay. Yeah. You hop onto that tree and start climbing like it's nobody's business.
Parkour!
Hardcore
That's it.
parkour.
Get up as high as I can. And I'm assuming that the acrobatics check means that that is my action
Yes, that is
to get up there. Okay, just making sure. I want to, know what my options are.
After a few seconds, that hound you can see it running in the forest below you, and it collides into the tree I'm assuming you climbed up one and kind of like jumped to another, kind of like parkoured your way up that way.
Yeah, basically just like. Boop, 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 boop.
So it smashes into the tree you first originally climbed, and then starts sniffing around with its upside down humanish face,
Right.
and then its scent or its nose is following your scent through the air, and it locks 4 sets of eyes up on you up in the tree,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gives a guttural bark,
Mm-hmm.
and sends a burst of flame up one of the trees, but it doesn't do too much to the tree, just kind of singes the bark a bit and doesn't get anywhere close to hitting you. Go over to John. He is still plugging away at his spell, kind of seemingly oblivious to what's happening with Eigner and Halifax.
I should have mentioned as soon as the thing happened with Eigner, he definitely would let out the pained yell from his arm getting roughed up, and then he would yell, "Halifax, my sword!"
All right,
See
and
if
it is
it-
Halifax's turn.
See if Halifax can do anything about that.
Yeah.
Help me out, my bro.
Bro.
My bro, dude. My dude, bro.
What precisely happened with the sword? Because I was
Well,
too busy reading
It-
spell
so
descriptions, I'm sorry.
essentially, some kind of like tentacle-y thing wrapped around my sword hand. It'd be the right one. Wrapped around my sword hand and just totally like just rolled a crit and like just
Stole his sword.
just stole my sword and like really roughed up my arm in the process. And so yeah, it's like you should be able to see a sword dangling on some sort of thing, like a tentacle or whatever.
Roll me a perception check. Halifax.
14.
Yeah. You do see a sword dangling in the air. Now roll me a wisdom save.
The fuck is going on here, Asa?
23.
That sword is dangling at the end of a long tentacle that, tentacle's a good word, that ends in a wide, it's not a hand and it's not a mouth. It's like a leaf, like the shape of a leaf, that ovalous shape. And inside are all these little kind of spiky feelers that seem to have gripped around the sword.
Is this some kind of classic D&D monster that I'm thinking of? Is that what
This
you're using?
particular thing is now making its way
Hmm.
towards. It's attached to a creature that is hanging off of the ceiling, and there are more of these. Um, they almost look like Venus flytrap style tentacle appendages, kind of draping around Eigner, and the one that's got his sword is bringing it to a giant mouth. It's just hanging off of this hunched body attached to the roof that looks like the outward looks very stony, but the mouth is very fleshy. It kind of looks like the mouth of that creature from Star Wars, not the Sarlacc, but the thing that Jabba has underneath his
Oh, the Rancor.
Oh, the
Rancor.
Rancor.
Kind of looks like a
Okay,
Rancor
yeah,
mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
Halifax, you got to do something, my dog. I'm like practically nothing without my sword.
it's true.
I shall look this creature square in the mouth. And pointing with my staff, I shall go. Oh, did I ever name the dog? I don't think I ever named the dog.
I'm not sure.
I know it's not a real dog, but
He's real to me, okay?
yeah. Let's give him a name. It's going to be a cool name. It is going to be something cool. I've got a bird bias. Anyway, I would like to, at a later point, come up with a cool name for the dog. I'm going to go Hound Sickum. And I'm going to cast Lightning Lure to try and drag this thing down towards me and the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Do it.
All right,
do
do
it.
it.
Do it.
So,
do it.
it needs to succeed on a strength saving throw.
Tell me you got a high DC.
What is your DC?
My DC is 16.
Okay,
That's
it got an 8.
Yay!
Yay!
So you get that lightning lure and you just yank it down.
Awesome.
And
So it gets
you hear
10
the
feet towards me.
you hear the growling, grasping, just attacking mouth of your dog as it just rips into this tentacle. The tentacle drops the sword and starts to try to wrap itself around the dog itself. Roll your damages.
So that's 7 lightning damage,
All right.
and it's only at the start of each of my turns that the hound actually manages to do damage, so I need to keep it there.
Well, I'll let him do it now.
Oh, cool.
Oof,
In
sorry.
that case,
Attack of a yawn.
5, 10, 16 damage.
7 and 16. All right. And then that is Agner's turn.
All right. So check this
You-
out. What?
Yeah,
no,
you can
no.
hear
You tell me.
you can hear your sword like clatter to the ground, the sound of metal on stone,
Oh yeah.
and then the growling of the dog behind you.
Ooh. And as
I
it
thought you were going to
chomps
say
on
you can
the
hear
tentacle.
the sword go, "Get me, Eigner! Help!"
For real though.
Agner,
For
you're
real
my
though.
only hope.
All right. So check this out, y'all.
I'm checking it out, yo.
I'm going to first use my bonus action to use Second Wind and recover some hit points here. I'm going to re-roll that. So it's kind of cocked. Maximum! Dang, dude. So that's pretty good. So the flavor of that one is like his arm is still kind of all messed up, and he just like takes the upper part and he just grits his teeth and pop, and then he just lets out a guttural scream, and then he immediately goes into a like lithe-looking stance, and then just starts to dance backward, and he uses a feature. A maneuver actually called evasive footwork, and he he just essentially rolls the superiority die and gets an AC bonus while he's moving to help with opportunity attacks. But I rolled a 1, so that only boosts my AC by 1. But he's going to move backward, and if he takes any opportunity attacks, he'll have a slight bonus.
One of the tentacles will like kind of swing wildly above his head, You weren't sure if well, you didn't even see it. You just heard a whoosh above your head.
For sure.
Halifax, you're not. You can't quite make out if the thing is trying to like attack Eigner or if it was just like doing a silly hand wave.
For sure.
But yeah.
Okay. So that was a bonus action. That was my move action. And once I get back there and get to the position where I know my sword tinged down, and I swoop it up, can I still have an action? Like, is that like just one of those things that you can do just as part of your turn?
Oh yeah, interact with object is a free action.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna swoop up my sword, and then if I can have an idea of where this dog is growling and everything, I'm just gonna swoop down with the sword and try and hit the tentacle that it's been
Yeah.
munching on.
Does the dog have hit points and stuff?
The dog does not.
Okay, so it's not a being
Oh.
that can actually be attacked. Okay, so yeah, yeah, you just make an attack against the thingy then.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Yeah,
Oh god.
that's not good.
No, it's not good.
So what happens is as soon as you go to swing your sword, you feel something wrap around your leg and yank you into the air upside down.
Oh, can I please just hold on to the sword though? Just
You barely manage. You feel it slipping, and you barely manage to just get your fingertips around the pommel. But you do take damage as these
bring it.
little what did I call them? Feelers. They like
Tentacle
become rigid
things. Yeah. Oh.
and like stab into you. You take what's the modifier? Come on, guys, tell me the modifier of my own monsters. You take 9 points of piercing damage. I can math too.
Shit.
And you are currently hanging upside down.
Sure enough, dude.
And
Okay.
Halifax went. Okay, so
And
now we're back to Fiala.
Stialas.
You are up in the tree. The dog has blown its fire at you. It's got its front hand claws on the tree itself. What are you gonna do?
I pray for a second and I say, I send one to you, take care of the child, and I shoot my musket at the dog.
Okay,
17 on the die, 20 total.
that's definitely a hit.
12 damage.
All right. You level that musket and fire, and your aim is true. And the child's head that's kind of looking upside down backward at you. You can see all the human features of it, just as half of it is just completely incinerated by your bullet. The creature like stumbles back and falls on its side, and then it starts to get back up. And then it starts to attempt to, climb the tree. You can see bone protruding through what would have been hands as it jams it into the tree and forces itself up.
Right.
Do you have any other actions?
Not currently,
Okay.
because there's no one else to do anything with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will have options when we get closer.
Yeah. The face, the mutilated face, now looks to have a grizzled, like sideways grin as it comes closer to you. That makes the human aspects of its remaining side, all the more noticeable.
Right.
I think we should take a break. Yeah,
I
it's a
think
good
a
idea.
good spot for it. It's the bottom
Yeah.
of the initiative order. We'll start with John and Guys, man, are we just like totally screwed or what? Like, are we just like screwed? The only person who I have hope for right now is Halifax because he has spell slots. Halifax
yeah.
has spell slots for days, dude.
I've got lightning bolt at 9d6 yet to cast.
Oh man.
Oh baby!
Yeah.
All right, so if that wasn't exciting enough to hear, then I don't know what you need to hear to get excited about this, man. So cool. Thanks so much for joining us. Check back in with us in like 10-15, and we'll continue this crazy little story we got going on.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much.
See you in a
Right
bit.
back.
Guys.